everybody, this is Suki again, and in this episode we are going to be talking about what is expansion, how do we expand, why do we expand, and certain ways to expand that are better than others. What is expanding? Expanding is the act of branching out from your home planet into other planets in order to capture them and get the production from them as such. Most maps will have multiple ways to expand, however, some ways are more efficient than others. So let's try to expand this map as efficiently as possible. And to do that, we are going to have to know, obviously, what a lot of players struggle with. What planets should I take? This map is a little bit easier on deciding what you should take. If you remember, the bigger planets, they produce more, while the smaller planets produce less. And they're all very cost dependent, meaning this is going to cost me 12 planets right off the start, 10, 17, and so on. So, the way to go about expanding, you want to hopefully try to keep your momentum moving forward as you play. So, let's get down to 100 ships, and I'll show you exactly how I would expand this. Coming up on 100. Keep in mind we want to keep our momentum kind of moving forward, so we're going to split it into two branches with 50%, and we're going to do another one right there. Then we're going to move forward. Want to move forward with that, and the only planet you should be moving back is the very back one for that 13. The reason we do this is so we get the middle advantage over the enemy, and we're not late to the fight in the middle. Of course, while we are later on fighting, there will be more opportunities to expand, such as this 32, which will likely be an immediate expansion, even right off the start. Just because there's so much space between us, it allows you a little more leeway with what you can take. Honestly, this map, it's a pretty decent distance, as long as you can kind of move fast enough, tunnel speed wise, for your defense. We will get into what tunneling is in another video, however. But if you can defend well enough, you can take pretty much everything in this map. And it would end up pretty much like this. We're not going to get into the fighting aspect in this video either, but that is how I would have expanded this map. Let's do a few more examples before we end this video. Here we have a map where there are two 7s directly in the middle. And I noticed that first because whenever I analyze a map for expansion, I look from the middle slowly on outwards, just in case there is some sort of advantage of rushing straight into the middle and not expanding at all. So, in this map, what I would do right off the bat, we'll get to 100 again first real quick. We're at 100, we're going to rush there with 250s, send 100 there, and try to take this 11. From there on, we would start the initial battle. Remember, while expanding, what I really was hoping to get out of that is that forward momentum, followed by an initial attack, which would give me the advantage of floating. Again, we will go into this later on, but as long as we know exactly why we expanded this, and, of course, there is the possibility of expanding more later on, depending on the opportunities given to you within the game, such as if he doesn't have an attack up at all, there would be so much space between us that we could take this one, end up taking this one, obviously the 14 too, the 12 would be good. The 45 is a little expensive, but as long as you have a somewhat of an advantage here from your expansion in the past, you could work your way up to that. I would go with the 21 first. And so long as he is taking the exact same planets as you, you should be able to work into this 45. Let's do one more map. Cool. This map is a little more rare than other maps, but you will see it pretty often as you play. So in this map, you want to initially, let's get to 100 again before we do anything. Okay, so initially what we want to do is start by taking this so we can expand upwards and send a small amount here. So we're gonna just send all of our ships over there, start expanding up, send the last 4 or whatever you got over there, just keep on working up. Our goal is to get here and kind of defend it as we try to take this. This 39 isn't great because, to be honest, I did mess up on the expansion here. Big time. If I could redo this as him, and we're actually about to watch that since that is my phone, I'm going to try to do that the correct way now. Because even I make mistakes, and I have played forever. So, initially you're going to start with 50%. You're going to take that planet. You're going to send 100 the opposite direction. You're going to send 100 the other direction also. And then you're going to continue building upwards. This would be the most effective expansion that I can currently see, just because that 30 is huge and you would make it back very fast. And remember, there's always the opportunity to take this 39 later on, right here. So long as you are afforded the opportunity, and we'll get into kind of how to get these opportunities later again. I'm trying to keep it at one subject at a time. We will do, yes, let's do one more expansion video and we'll end this video. Alright, so we have a pretty common map type here. This is what we would usually call a mid-map. Remember how I said earlier that you would visualize a map and analyze it from the center out? We see there's 2 zeros. So we know right off the bat that whoever takes these has a huge advantage as they spent 0 ships but got the combination of both of their productions. So from this point, we see these zeros. We got to think, what is the best path I could take to reach those as fast as possible? This kind of goes into tunneling again. It's a very important concept. Just know that we want to find the most efficient way to get to these as fast as possible. So I'm going to go straight through it. Bam, bam. This one is slightly closer. We're going to take that one first. And your enemy would likely do the exact same thing, assuming they have some knowledge on expansion. However, some people will miss this, and it happens to everybody, where they'll go here, they might take this, they didn't see the 0 for whatever reason, and they'll start expanding back here. You will be able to take the 0, and now you have a huge advantage, and this should inevitably lead to you winning the round. Since we got one mid-map, we are going to do one last map, and hopefully it's a good one. Okay, this map is kind of neat. It's a little rough because you could go wrong here very easily. Me personally, if I would have just reacted to this, I probably would have taken this 12 and tried to get into the 1. Now I might be able to do that, but if he goes from here and takes this 14, he would get to the 1 faster, which would lead him with less prod at a higher price, but he would be able to get this 5, which would put him far ahead of me. So I'm thinking the best way to expand this would be right here through the 14 and taking these both. Since there's so much distance for him reinforcing this, we should be able to defend it pretty easily. But this is one of those maps where it's a little bit harder to decide what to take. But I'm going to go with the answer of taking the 14, 1, and 5 on this one. Being the other possible way this could play out is if I took this 12 and he went straight into the 14 and took these, and I sent exactly 2 ships here to capture this, I should be able to hold this, hopefully, while I take this 5 as well and reinforce, and then that would be the game. It's very dependent on both players, but I would say the safest option is to just 100% here, take these both, and if he does the same thing, you would obviously take this 12, and it's kind of a mid-map, so you're going to have to watch out for back here, as well as thinking about this 11 and 13 you could possibly expand. What if, though, he has an empty home, and you could take that?